You are in for a treat today. We are going to talk about how to use Silhouette Web. And we'll talk about what it is and why you would want or not want to use it. But before we do that, I just want to take a second and say, hey, I'm Christy here at Crafty Christy's Creations, and I'm here to help you master your silhouette. So let's jump in. Silhouette Web. This is basically an online version of Silhouette Studio. I would call it closer to what was their Silhouette app. There's not a ton of things that you can do in it. It's pretty minimal, but let's see what we've got here and I'll show you. We'll do a little practice project here. So here is Silhouette Web, and this is a website. So it's www.silhouette-web.com. And you can see this looks very similar to what you get if you're using version 5 of Silhouette Studio. But the cool part is I'm already logged in here with my information. So it's showing me some of the files that are in my Silhouette library. And then you can see, unlike version 5 of Silhouette Studio last I had checked, these are all clickable links. So you can click on these and that will take you directly to the design store. So if you wanted those little flamingos, it's opening up in the design store so that you can go ahead and purchase those flamingos. So it's nice that these work. And then up here at the top, this is just an easier way for you to get started with your files. So if you wanted to make sticker sheets, you could click on this. And this one's really neat. Right now, I've kind of messing around. So yes, I'm going to discharge what I'm doing. You're just going to tell it what machine you're using. I'm going to do this on my electrostatic mat, letter size sticker paper. And then it's kind of cool because it gives you some little, hey, don't forget about this. And then you can learn more about that by clicking on here, perhaps. Maybe not. We're going to hit next. And then here's another tip. Check your line thickness. We talk about that a lot, about how if you do not want to print a line, you need to have a 0-point thickness on it. And then for more information, you can go to the Silhouette YouTube page. You can go watch their Silhouetting 101 series or follow them on Instagram. And then this help and support, I believe that takes you to the help articles. But we'll go ahead and hit get started. And with this one, they gave you a design. So now here's another basically free design you can use. And they've already put the registration marks on here and things are ready to go. So let's just tour with this Silhouette Web and just let me show you what's in here. So that is under the kind of main banner, the Silhouette Web. That's where you find these things to help you get started. There's lots of different things here and it'll walk you through that whole click process like we just did. And then down the right side here, you've got some updates. Now it doesn't, the Silhouetting 101 looks like the last update was March 31st. Now we're in April. And then a lot of this is stuff from February and January. And then even the kind of just for you files are, haven't been updated in a little while. It looks like a lot of them are just fall, New Year, Thanksgiving kind of things. So, and then a little Christmas. So that part hasn't been updated, but I do appreciate that you can click on those and just get that file right away. And then this is the home button. It brings you back to this same Silhouette Web starting page. You've got your user information here where you can sign in. You can also download Silhouette Studio or the Silhouette Go. That's the app. And then a couple other things you can do here. Actually, it looks like you can manage your licenses here. I have not messed around with that, but maybe you can upgrade this so you can use other things. Let's see, that brings you to your license keys to be able to do all that. So that's nice. I have not done that yet, so this is using just the basic version. And then the little 3 bars here is where you can upload a file, which is what we're going to do. And because I did not add a business or a key in there, so I'm just using the basic version. But I'm going to go ahead and merge in a file from my device, and I'm going to do these planner stickers that I created, and it just popped one in here. So the thing I've noticed about the send panel is that you only get one tab. So you're only going to work on one project at a time. I can still click and drag around this, and I'm going to delete all of these. Down the side panel here, you can tell it's very basic. You can add your shapes. So these are your flexi shapes and your lines. You still have your trace button here. And then your basic transform, you can do your text. The cool thing about the text here is all of these web fonts, which you do not have access to inside of the Silhouette Studio software that you normally download. So you're not going to find those here, but so you get access to a lot more text font ideas here. And then if you click on one, it just brings some text in so you can kind of see a little sample of it. So when you have to kind of click through here to see the different text styles and what it looks like. And then library, I've got a couple in here that are in my library. Now, these library fonts that they're showing are not fonts that this is the Wonderstruck font is the only one that I've purchased through the Silhouette store. So that's cool that it's pulled over some other ones, but it has not pulled in, kind of all of the fonts that I have on my computer. So it's not going to pull all of those in. And then you've got your basic stuff down here for alignment of your font, the size, and so there's some basic stuff there. And then you'll notice your bounding box around your item. You can delete right here. That one duplicated what I was doing. You can rotate. So this one's a click and drag. And then here is how you're going to size it up and down is with this little arrow, this arrow here. And then you've got your print and cut here. They make it a little bit different. So I'm enabled my registration marks, and then you can change the length of them, the thickness of your actual marks, and then here's the inset. And then you can print right from this page here as well. And then you've got your normal modify and your offset, your sketching, and then your specialty tools. You can do your embossing, your heat pen, and all of these other ones here straight from in the specialty tools. So that is kind of nice. And then you also have your library. I'm already logged in. So then you go through all of this, and then if you click on designs, that's where all of your designs populate, and then your user designs, that's everything that you've created in Silhouette Studio. So all of that is here, and then I just had to log in to make sure I could access that. So we are going to work on a print and cut project, and I've already got my inset turned all the way down. The thickness is fine, and then the length, that all looks good. Here's the little sticker that I'm going to make. These are just some different happy planner stickers that I'm going to use. So we've got those there. And then you can see up at the top here, you've got your fill color, your line color. Here's your line style. And then here you can scale, you can move things around and rotate. And then you've got your normal alignment. You click on that and these will all just kind of open some more here for grouping and ungrouping. Here's your undo and redo button, and then you can fit to window. And then you see you've got this like little button kind of hanging out here. This is your page setup. So I've already got mine selected for the Cameo 5. I'm using the electrostatic mat and my media is letter sized. So that's all I need to do here. You can make adjustments here as you need. You can have your grid. You can show your rulers. You can show your grid. You can snap to your grid when it's on and then set up your divisions there. And then down this side here are just some basic tools. You've got your arrow key. And then this one here, let's see, if you click, that one is not going to do anything for me. So here again, you can add your text, you can do your line, you can draw. This one here is your knife tool and then your eraser. So not a lot of things you can do on here. Go back to that one here. So let's go ahead and just set up our print and cut here. So what I'm going to do with this one is I want to fill the page. So let's see if I have, those are rotate, move. So it doesn't look like I have all of the same, let's see under transform, replicate tools. So you don't have the same, like here, make 5 copies down or 5 copies across, but you can hit this fill the page and that filled the page really nicely. So that will work. I think we'll just do that to make this quick. And I've already pre-made all of these. So these are going to be print and cut stickers. And then we're going to cut on that red line. And then the other thing I want to do in print and cut, I've enabled the registration marks. I don't see a print bleed. Okay, but we can go ahead and just print. And then here is my print preview page. And you can tell it does a little bit different here. It gives you some document information where you did this from. But the big thing that I'm worried about is making sure that my registration marks are indeed showing up here, and they are. And I'm going to print this in color. None of my red lines are showing, which is great. I've got my printer. I'm going to make 1 copy. Everything looks good. I'm going to turn off headers and footers. That got rid of that. You see what that did? That got rid of that extra information on there. I don't need that. So that looks good. And then I'm printing today on the online labels. This is matte white sticker paper, and I'll leave a link for these below if you're interested, along with information about my printer. But this is all set up, so I'm going to go ahead and get this printed, and I will be back when we're done printing. Okay, I've got my sheet all printed here, and then I'm just going to get it added onto my electrostatic mat. And then remember, for the print and cuts, the square goes in the top left, and then you have your marker in your bottom left and your top right. So that's all stuck down, looking good. We'll go ahead and load this in. And now let's go back to Silhouette Web and take a gander here. So we're going to come over to the send panel. And we need to go ahead and just connect our device. So I'm going to hit scan for devices. And then it found my Cameo 5. And then I'm going to hit pair. And then I can go ahead and change my material to sticker. And then I'm going to do the white sticker paper, hit continue. We're going to cut, hit continue, auto blade, continue. And then right here, you've got this test or modify settings. I'm going to go ahead and open that up just to look at what settings I have. And I don't need to make any changes. This all looks good. The only thing I'm going to do is turn on the intelligent path technology. And what that's going to do is make it so that your, it like moves the rollers less, and it'll just be a little bit faster and smoother for cutting. So everything looks good there. I'm going to hit back. And the only downfall to all of this is that there's no cut by line color or cut by fill color. So everything is just what would be on your simple screen on your normal Sun panel in Silhouette Studio. That's what you have here. So to combat that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom out a little bit so everything is above my little selections here. And I'm just going to rubber band select all of my design. And then I'm going to hit ignore selected lines. So now you can see nothing is here for cut. And then I have to come in here and select each one. And then I'm going to say use edge line. Oh, that did not do it. Ignore selected lines. Come on, click that little edge there. Use edge. Nope. Might have to come back to design. Are these grouped? I can't remember. I'm just going to do Shift Control G to ungroup. Now let's go back to the Sun panel. Oh, and every time you leave the Sun panel, you have to repair. That is also a little bit annoying, but it kept all of my material, so that's good. Okay, we're going to zoom out. Let's try this again. Ignore selected items. I can zoom in a little bit. And then I'm going to click on just that red line and then hit use edge lines. So it's doing that now. I'm going to go ahead and continue this through all of them, and I will be back when I have them all done. Okay, I've got all of the outline, which was my red line. All of those are selected. So now we can go ahead and just hit continue. And then it's going to walk you through if you want it to show you all the instructions for getting everything. I'm going to hit skip instructions. And then it's saying, great, it's ready. Go ahead and make it. So I'm just going to hit send. And then that is sending everything to the machine. So it's just reading all of those registration marks. And then once it's got all those read, it's going to go ahead and start cutting. And then we'll see if we notice a difference using the intelligent path technology in the way that it's going to cut. So let's see. So it looks like it's just going to go down the line and just cut all of them straight across and then go to the next one. It might be interesting to come at some point and cut one with and then without using that technology to see if we can really see a difference. But I will be back when it's all done cutting and we will see what the finished results look like. Okay, it's all done cutting, and like with everything, I want to double check my cut. So I'm just going to look at that. It peels up beautifully. Those are good settings. We can go ahead and unload. Turn that off. And we have our sheet of sticker paper. Okay, so we have our beautiful sheet of sticker paper that we did in Silhouette Web. But this begs the question, is Silhouette Web worth the trouble? As you can see, the experience that we just had with the print and cut, there were some things that were a little bit tedious, mostly in the fact that I don't have the, replicate in rows to do, 10 across or however you wanted to do that, which I use that a lot to fill my page because I don't always want such big gaps between all of my stickers, so I could take up a little less space. I don't know that I would have been able to fill this page anymore, so I think using that fill page in this instant worked out just fine. The other thing that is lacking in Silhouette Web, every time you go to the Sun panel, you have to repair with your machine. So if you go back and forth from design to send, that's going to be a tedious problem. At least it saves the cut settings, so that's nice. The other thing that I wish it had was the cut by line color or cut by fill color, because again, having to go back through and individually select each one of the boxes. And even I tried holding down the shift key to select multiple of the outlines, and that did not work either. So those are three kind of big things for me that would make me not want to use Silhouette Web. But let's talk about why you would use Silhouette Web. I think this is a great feature for quick projects. So if you've got something for like vinyl, or you're strictly just cutting a quick project, like cutting something out of cardstock where you're only doing one action, meaning I'm only cutting, I'm not cutting and scoring or cutting and foiling. I think this would be great for that, for quick projects, to just kind of get in and get done. The other thing about doing it through a website versus your computer is that you don't have to store Silhouette Studio on your computer. So depending on, maybe you're going to do this off of your iPad instead of on a computer, that would make it a lot easier to kind of do this on the go, to use the Silhouette Web. So there you have it. That is kind of a rundown of Silhouette Web. We did some beautiful print and cut stickers that I'll be using in my happy planner. And we explored what it looks like, what it works, and what I wouldn't use it for. So make sure you give this a thumbs up so I know you like learning more about Silhouette things. And then before you go, up here in the corner, you will find some more videos about Silhouette that I think you're gonna like. And then I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.